Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Saturday, number 3 day for this December 2022. My name na Capo Daniel. I am the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the spokesperson of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Past King, una own countryman, Ambazonian FBI. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where we speak the truth, we bring una meaningful information, fact-based analysis as we work for this journey to our freedom, the independence of Ambazonia. Ladies and gentlemen, today we come to announce big changes for home front on defense for our second zone for inside Bamenda, our second military barracks for inside Bamenda, popularly known as Ntankah. The Ambazonian Defense Forces chairman for the War Council, he done make a big announcement where he done replace the commander for Ntankah, General Striker, with our top commander for inside Bamenda, JC. Now, JC, he be the top commander for Ntankah, now he be the overall commander for Ntankah, while they done demote General Striker. Now, a very sad thing for me personally, because I don't work very closely with Striker, now a very young, vibrant soldier and general and a leader, we don't carry out successful mission. General Striker, he need to hesitate, he never ever deny or get cold food for go for mission. He don't always accomplish a mission, but today they don't remove him for a position. He no longer be the head for the Ntankah Barracks, and the new commander, General JC, he don't be appointed by the War Council. I will bring that for now and many more. But first, we'll go on for start for abroad. Steve will talk about the case where they don't catch 3 Ambazonians where them been a member for the IG group. They don't charge them for court, say they don't do kidnapping for ransom. This case, it don't go plenty places and it don't expose a lot of things. Now, a shame where it don't come for we Ambazonians. Say, when we fight for freedom, the war, the instant know we now about kidnapping for ransom. And I must tell our people then so we don't get more information from the people the way they surround these cases, and we fit tell now the truth for which way it happen. One of the problem where they for the case now say in developing the body or the background information, the American prosecutor, he give background for the case, he detail the involvement of these 3 Ambazonians for the struggle. Then talk say that they support Ambazonian fight, and then give the background they touch Ambazonia, where it then become a political tool. We then be made for understand by the Ambazonian Governing Council mission, where it then visit that area, saying I say politics is there for America. Because the people, the way they make the prosecutor, they enter for election. So each time they want carry out operation, they want may be very popular by putting the background of Ambazonian struggle in the middle of a filing for court. It make me the case to get international attention for help the people them for election for day. But we'll be satisfied with the information. Say this case it be targeted or specifically for the harm we done be done by kidnapping we done touch American citizens them. These 3 people them, the main reason why they don't put them for court now because of them direct soldier them for ground zero. Me then go kidnap people the way they in for America, their family member back home, and then talk me the people and give them money for America. We know say IG member them for Sako, where they separate with Chris Anu, then be linked with the case. They report either through the reporting or providing evidence, but from the people that then be close to the case, where they then also go for court. It shows say Sako, his own faction, as the IG dance separate for plenty group. Now Sako them they want punish Chris Anu, his own people them. Now they don't go leak the evidence and for direct or for support the evidence the case the way we already go. We also know say the people they made in for America where they be kidnap their family member them, they also that help the case for the American government. But we want to assure Ambazonians them say this case not be an indictment for our struggle and it not get nothing to do with people the way they follow a genuine cause for support self-defense for help Ambazonia and them achieve their goal for self-determination. Would I be reassured by our friends of America, the State Department, say America will always be the country where it supports self-determination across the globe. So any man where it support a group, also it get obligation for make sure say that group, they need to use that money for personal benefit, or they need to use their soldier them for personal benefit and for things that will not be related to the struggle. Even though the people that they come, like people that they fight for struggle, but people that don't begin use this struggle for do their own kind things them. One of the very surprising thing for this issue where that happened, the Ambazonian issue of course, but it happened with the faction for the IG. Now the interview where one Ambazonia Idangiam for inside La Republic. This man where they call in Silai na a lawyer way na Ambazonia way come off on so. Ipa bidan be minister before na people they ran chop with La Republic na they ran Selwi. So this very lawyer we marry na La Republic citizen, it build a new house for inside Yaoundé. We could put out the picture, make our people they know. This man, he don't take money for Cameroon. He work for set up Ambazonian leader them. He don't come for Hong Kong. He don't go for Norway. He don't go for America. For go make fake cases them. Then work with Kunyam titles for try for set Ambazonian leader them up for things the way they never do them. We, the Ambazonian frontliners, we are ready to face whatever the consequences for our actions. But this boy, it work a lie. They create fake stories based on fiction for try for get Ambazonia and the media arrest our leader them for abroad. Or their attempt it don't fail. We don't notice the interview we give for La Republique. We want to inform our people and say this case La Republique you no get no hand for day. 100% if we are sure na say La Republique you no get no hand for day. The American government, that way their visitor, they become for America for La Republique, both Karen Bass and Thibaut Nagy in official capacity, they be interview them. They be done tell La Republique say Ambazonia and them be allow for support, they fight for self-determination and for self-defense for their homeland. And that position in never change. We're gonna know. The other one way even pain we the most. Now the one way an Ambazonian way he too there for this IG care their SCBC TV channel. This TV channel na channel way they run the specialized and get some program they call and say town hall where be brought about by Maggie Kilo and Fontem Niba. They come for this program for try for bring blackmail against the Ambazonian Governing Council in particular and the ADF. This boy, I will give his name and details them later. He don't go for South African TV. Instead for give information for defend the Ambazonian liberation movement about this bad news where they come from America, he used the opportunity again for blackmail the Ambazonian Governing Council. Wanna listen for your interview.
There's possible links to the Cameroon government. Is that to destabilize what some might call the legitimate cause of the Southern Cameroons?
Oh, yes, very definitely. I would say one of the things we are really looking forward to seeing the full indictment and the other indictments that are coming. So if I add a piece of information, simultaneous to their arrest, the home of one of the faction leaders, Christopher Forbunier, was also raided by I believe the FBI. That was Monday morning, and they confiscated electronic devices. Some other homes were raided. We don't yet know which homes were raided. So this is part of an ongoing investigation. We know that the federal government is also investigating the financial side of lots of funds that were collected that never made their way. They are investigating the kidnapping not only of this particular group, this particular group.
So firstly, this boy where they call Ndofor Hermann Achidi. Now boy where they stay for Fontra Street, I describe their house. Not beside the same Mango attack their family house because of the family people then they wait and they for Bamenda. But now semi people that no way be because for a house for they go know all kidnapping the way they go on for Bamenda. Now boy we he don't go for PSS Mancon, he don't go CPC Bali for batch 93 according to a classmate the way they call for give information. They talk say the boy in a person way if you describe him like they really man no call a black leg. But now one of those Ambazonian the way they want rip for where they know that so. And people then this way, they try for set Ambazonia and they up for destroy our legitimate struggle. When I hear the journalist from South Africa, he ask ye, say, this thing get connection for do with Cameroon. He jump on top for credit Cameroon for arrest of Ambazonian in the United States when there is absolutely zero proof or evidence or even an indication for the court document the way they and the publication for the American State Department say Cameroon government get any hand for do it for day. So this Ndofor Hermann Achiri, now the people them this way La Republique they use them or out of their own stupidity they put to jeopardy the livelihood, the life and freedom of 8 million Ambazonians and for aggrandizement of themselves. We know say it can be involved with the town hall for anti-ADF propaganda and for trying to tarnish the name of the ADF. But increasingly we see say these people them, the people they aid La Republique, they abet La Republique and they push La Republique their narrative and want for assure ye say Ndofor family will not inform una pikin Hermann Achiri where they for America for Texas where and be divorced. Say any Ambazonia where he go lie for our fighter their name, he go jeopardize our liberation on falsehood, made up stories will face the consequences of their action. Make Ndofor know and make all Ambazonia the way they for diaspora made them know say if you deliberately lie, you defame and you distort information deliberately for sabotage Ambazonian freedom fighters who are helpless on ground zero. You put the life and the liberty of all Ambazonians at jeopardy. You will be held responsible for your actions. And making Ndofor know, say the Ambazonian Defense Forces have taken note of his treasonous utterance on this TV channel. He went further for say, as I will play a meguna here, when I listen.
The kidnapping not only of this particular group, this particular group of the ARFs did some, but probably the last 2 or 3 years, it has mostly been done by a group known as Ambazonia Defense Forces, ADF, and AGOFC, that are pretty much based in the US, in Norway. The leader is in Norway, and one of the action commanders is in China, where they have been kidnapping. A few months ago, they actually kidnapped a sitting senator for ransom on any given day, a huge number. We do know that the US authorities are looking at those also. And so we are looking forward to the full report.
So, as when I hear this criminal, Mr. Ndofor Hermann, he don't come out for talk say, even indirectly accuse me, Capo Daniel, a humble servant where he fight kidnapping for ransom. On the record, make Ambazonia and they hear this and hear very clearly. The Human Rights Watch, he don't mention me, Capo Daniel, the Ambazonian Governing Council and the ADF as the only group and organization and official who are responsive to fight kidnapping for ransom in ground zero. This is the most credible international organization that have been putting out anti-Ambazonian narrative, but they have recognized our activity to fight against kidnapping for ransom. This individual, who is called Ndofor Hermann Achiri, came out to lie despite evidence and fact presented to the entire war that the Ambazonian Defense Forces kidnapped Mrs. Munde for ransom. We all know that the Ambazonian Governing Council arrested Mrs. Munde for crimes of treason and misrepresenting herself to represent a colonial state. We are fighting a legitimate cause, which is that of colonialism. It has been well articulated. When she was arrested, Mrs. Munde herself read her charges, that including treasonous actions in representing the state of Cameroon. The Ambazonian Governing Council, me, your spokesman, our generals on the ground, communicated to the entire international community that we want no money for the release of Mrs. Munde other than the release of Pa for Ngalafo, who is an elderly citizen in the prison. The International Red Cross was involved and other international partners involved in the negotiation to get our prisoners of war released in exchange for the release of Mrs. Munde. There was nothing concerning money that was involved. Not even a rumor or attempt of money have even been entertained on Mrs. Munde's case. So this criminal go on air on international media and try to create his own narrative to tarnish and defame our leaders, our forces, and our organization that is properly constituted by millions of Ambazonians in the diaspora and at home that are fighting for their aspiration to a free homeland. Mr. Ndofor Hermann will be and will live his rest of his life as a wanted person for this his treasonous lies, manipulation, and distortion of fact to blackmail the egg of sea. And our leader, Dr. Chua Yaba, and your humble Deputy Defense Chief on false allegations of kidnapping for ransom. The Ambazonia Governing Council will never ever authorize the kidnapping or the arrest or holding of individual for the sole purpose of taking away their money for no other reasons as a ransom as is defined. We will never do that. The day we do that, I will cease to be a part of this organization, and I can assure you, Dr. Chua Ayaba will never be part of anything like that. We are people who are dedicated to fight for the freedom of every Ambazonians. To fight for your liberty, we have put our liberty at risk. We have put our money, our life. Our soldiers have put their blood on the ground for you. Everybody who disrespect these sacrifices of the people who have already died should know and should expect nothing less than justice for their treasonous actions. And Mr. Ndofor Hermann should take note. And everybody who sits in the diaspora and think in the comfort of your room, in political expediency, you are going to denigrate our soldiers and their blood. Please think twice. A word to a wise is sufficient. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take us back to Bamenda, where our military region, the second military region in Bamenda, have had a new commander, Commander JC. We are calling on all our population to support him. And our Commander Striker, we thank him for his service and will continue to support him, and we have called on him to report himself to our headquarters for further instruction and disciplinary procedure. We are going to release the video of the incidents that leads to his demoting. Our forces had information. There are two things that are going on in Bamenda. There will be a big celebration in the Mancon's Palace to coronate our new form of Mancon. We have authorized that celebration to go on. There are Cameroon enablers and traitors who are in Yaoundé who wants to attend that ceremony. The Fun Palace have been negotiating for us to allow it and allow everybody to be there and consider that ground a sacred ground where we'll turn a blind eye. That issue is being discussed. Cameroon, the traitors in Cameroon, including Ntankah, are pouring in money into forces in Bamenda to try to destabilize them and control their action so that traitors and blacklegs who return home for that ceremony should not be arrested. This now is giving full advantage to tribalists who run some defense groups in Mancon to step in and start to inject tribalism, just like we have seen in Batibu and many other places, including in Fako, where when Cameroon step in with corruption, you have political scavengers who will come in there with tribalism, and the end result is that Ambazonia will be the loser. This time it will not happen. So 2 days ago, our forces who have been running our anti-kidnapping and anti-drug squad had a tip to nab one of the toughest drug dealer that have been used directly by the Cameroon military to supply drugs and to use drug as a weapon of war in our soldiers and our town in Bamenda. In that operation, our forces were deployed. They went to arrest this individual and arrest him with the drugs. Unfortunately or fortunately, in that hideout, one of our top commander in Striker was also arrested in that location. He was found together with this drug lord. That is why our top commander have been demoted and have been sent have been ordered to present himself to our supreme commander for disciplinary procedure. We'll release that video. We will never accept or tolerate misconduct and the breach of our code of conduct. No soldier is above the law. We will not build a country where it is going to be run by cartels and people who do not respect our civilians and will indulge in drug activity, some drugs that have been tainted with the hands of La République du Cameroun. We regret this. We will not hide this. We are ashamed. We have failed you in this, and we stand to correct ourselves and to rehabilitate our general. Today, we inform the people of Bamenda and the people of Ambazonia that General Striker is no longer the commander of Ntankah, the second military barracks in Bamenda, and JC is now the top commander, and everybody should support him in his new duty, and he's a patriot. And we thank General Striker for his job that he has done so far, and we'll be along with him all the way to his rehabilitation. The video will be released today, and we hope that our people and our soldiers will gain confidence in our leadership. These have been some of the things that have made things to go wrong in Tamolung and many other places in Bamenda, and a coalition with other people that have just been a pain to our population. And we will continue to go forward until Ambazonia is free. Capo Daniel, signing off.